folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Batman: The Adventures Continue, Issue 7 by DC. Now, there is fighting, shooting, violence, destruction, and a bit more violence in this one, so if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, when we left off in issue 6, Jason has impersonated Batman and went into the Batcave, but Tim figured out that it was actually Jason and not the real Batman. And then Jason knocked out Alfred and kidnapped Tim. So we start this issue with Jason. He's in Dr. Tompkins' office, stealing drugs or medicine. Stealing drugs. She hears something. She goes in. She's like, "Who's here?" And she turns on the lights. And he's there, and he's like, "Thanks, doctor, for turning on the light. It's hard to read the labels in the dark." So he's there, he's stealing some medicine. She tries to talk to him. She's like, "Why are you wearing that hood, Jason?" And he tells her, "Well, since Batman told you everything, have him tell you that too. I'm wearing a red hood." And he kind of shoves her away, and she's like, "Jason, let's talk about it." And he's like, "I'm no patient, and you're not a psychiatrist. And I'm gonna help more people with these drugs, medications than you have in your whole career." And then he just leaves. And he also tells her, that he's touched how much worry she showed for him, more than Bruce ever has. And that's it. And she goes outside and sees how he's leaving. Then we go to let me remember. We go after that to, one second. Okay, yeah, I was first. Okay. Then we go to the Batcave. Dr. Tompkins has called to ask how everything was, telling Bruce that her feelings haven't changed, but to be careful to save Jason. He tells her that Alfred is fine. Jason knocked him and he hit his head a bit hard, but he's alright. And then that's it, he hangs up. And then it points to the Bat computer, all the locations where they've spotted Jason. And he's like, he knows that he's somewhere there. And he jumps into the Batmobile in order to go out there. And Barbara's I forgot to mention Barbara's there too. I think she patched up Alfred. And Alfred tells her, it's going to be very dangerous out there, Miss Gordon. And she said, well, that's exactly the reason why I need to go out there as well. Stay with Bruce. Then we go to Tim. He is somewhere underground in the sewers, inside of a clear cube. It's connected to the water supply, to a pipe. And some water spills on his face, and he wakes up. Jason has changed him into his Robin costume, and telling him, you're gonna stay there. You won't be able to get out of there. He also took his tool belt, and Tim's like, I don't need my tool belt to kick your ass. And then he's like, well, sit tight. And Tim's asking him, what do you want from me? And then he tells him, well, for now, for you to do a breaststroke, a swimming move, because it's going to be a while and more water is dripping down from that pipe into where Tim is. And then that's it, he leaves. Then we go to the Penguin in his club, Iceland, was it? The Joker's there with him talking. He wants to, borrow a few thousands. He's there with Mr. Strength. And they again, he's telling, oh, come on, old, what does he call him? Ozzy, because it's Oswald Cobblepot, right? I think. It says, oh, come on, Ozzy, it's chump change for you. And the Penguin's like, look, there's an assassin on your back, and he wants to kill you, so I'm going to sit down, and watch it. But before that, they talk about Mr. Strength. So Mr. Strength is essentially kind of like a Captain America. He's this great soldier, and they wanted to give him super strength and everything, and just as they were doing some operation for that, Joker came in and took over. And somehow, I guess he has surgical knowledge, he took care of his lobes, frontal lobes. Of course, pointing a gun at the doctors. And so he did the surgery on him. I don't know if you hear some noise, it's my grandma's telly. Yeah, he did the surgery, and I guess made Mr. Strength kind of his partner now. Who knows what else he's done to his brain in that time, as he did the surgery. Anyways, not with Harley anymore, and the Penguin even asks, where's Harley? And she said it was best to go our separate ways. Sadly, she said that with a mallet to my forehead. And now the Joker tells him she's off with Poison Ivy. So, after that, the Penguin tells him, there's a target on your back, and I'm just gonna sit back and watch, what's gonna happen. And then, Mr. Strength comes over. He was next to the bar in the Penguin's office, and goes to talk to the Penguin, basically threaten him. But then, Bird Brain bursts in. Mr. Wing, that was his name. I forgot what it was. I called him Warbird in which issue was it? I think it was issue 2. Yeah, I think it was in issue 2 or 3. So he apparently, I wonder what he was, if he was a guy in a bird costume or some mutation or robot. So he's a guy that's been genetically mutated to be this, big bird man. So he goes in, his subordinate, as the Penguin calls him. Again, he emphasizes the bird in the word. And he tells him to attack Mr. Strength and the Joker. But, of course, Mr. Strength ends up, kicking Birdie really hard and knocks him into the terrace. And then they all end up there, and Joker's like, well, how about it? But then suddenly there's two not poison, but those arrows you shoot from a thing hit him, and it's Jason Todd there. He arrived. Let me look again. There's Mr. Wing. Blah blah. Yeah. Okay. Then before that he says something, and then Joker's like, Heckler, come to the mic, big mouth. And then he shoots him. But he uses a gun. Usually in movies, it's a straw that you spit the arrows through. And then he shoots him at Mr. Strength as well, throwing him off. There's like a big ice mountain inside the club, and above it this beautiful chandelier. And Jason basically throws him over the terrace and onto there, and then throws a bomb, Jason Red Hood grenade, and makes the chandelier disconnect, and it's thrown on Mr. Strength. And that's it. As he leaves, he says, tell Batman Red Hood was here. He should know where to find me. 1 second, let me check. There's a lot of fucking ads in between, too. Okay. Then, shortly later, the police is there, and Penguin is complaining that Batman only comes when he's, at a most inconvenient time when he's not wanted, or arrives only when it's too fucking late. Well, what are you gonna do? So he says, he was there, and Batman's like, where's the Joker's partner? He says, up there on my mountain, after my $3 million chandelier was fell on him, sorry. And you see policemen getting ladders to climb up to that ice mountain to find Mr. Strength. And they're like, where could Jason be? And then Barbara notices something on the floor with her flashlight and calls him over. And you see that there are drops of water on the floor. But then it hasn't rained in a week in Gotham. And then the Penguin said, now that you mention it, he did smell kind of, musty. And I thought it was personal hygiene. But then Batman at that moment figures out where Jason is. He leaves, Barbara goes after him, and he says, Jason all this time has been under our noses. He's been using the sewer system in order to hide, which makes sense. How he would appear in all these places and then manage to disappear again. I imagine maybe 4 years ago when he was hiding from Batman, that's where he was as well, maybe. Constantly hiding in the sewers. So the place Jason is now, 4 years ago when he, went rogue on Batman, he very gravely injured Killer Croc. And Croc was, for a year he was in the hospital until he was sent to solitary. But that place where his hideout was, that's where Jason is. So they need to go there. And then suddenly Batman turns and sees that Barbara's not responsive. She's been shot with one of those arrows. He approaches her, looks at the arrow, and then you see it's like that scene from It by Stephen King. You see, which I think was the intention really. You see Jason standing, in the sewer there, and he's like, what did he say? So you're down here. Do you got, what are you, doing there? He said, I got a clown down here as well. I'm sure this was meant to be a reference to It by Stephen King. And he's like, come on. Your little bird's down here too. And then he shoots Batman with the last arrow, with the drug. I think it's a drug to put you to sleep because he tells Joker you're going to be out for a while. And then Batman's out as well. And then we move on to Batman hears something and he starts to wake up. And his vision's really blurry. And first you kind of see an eye and shit. And then something else and getting clearer in his Joker's face. I gotta tell you that scene there, he looked quite creepy. That was something. One moment. Sorry about that cut. Yeah, his face, I actually took a picture. It looked quite creepy. Yeah, he's starting to wake up. Yeah, he's like, the Joker's basically talking to him, like, wake up, this is your fault, I'm in this mess, blah, blah. Oh, he's like, hi, good, you're awake. Get me out of here. The Joker yells to him. 1 second. Then we have. Okay. So there we are. Alright, then as Batman wakes up and he's looking around, you see the Joker's cuffed to the pipe. Tim is still in there, and Batman looks at him and asks, are you alright, Tim? Or, well, Robin, doesn't say his name. And he's like, yeah, I'm alright for the moment. And then Jason appears, and he said, well, here we are, Bruce. Now you're gonna have to face it. Your precious Robin. And and Bruce says, well, he's been under pressure before. He's gonna be fine. He's been around the block. And Robin's looking at him like, what? And Batman's giving him a hint of what to do. Pressure, block. And Robin, he takes off his cape and shoves it into the pipe. Because the glass is really unbreakable in what he's in. Well, then the Joker frees himself, opens the cuffs, and then he runs over. So basically what Jason wants is for Batman to take a crowbar. He brings the crowbar. He also took Batman's tool belt. He wants him to beat Joker to death. If he does that, then he'll release Robin. He wants a do-over. And the Joker's like, well, this is a tad dramatic. And, he's like, no, Jason, I'm not going to do it. And Joker's leaving, but then Jason shoots him in the arm. And he's like, okay, I'll make it easy for you. He throws a gun at the Joker. He's like, here, shoot. He'll shoot at you. You shoot him in self-defense. And Joker's like, nah. This isn't fun. Well, me shooting at bats and he's shooting at me? No. After that, he shoots him in the arm. He's really hell-bent on this. And even the Joker thinks he's already lost it. And then Jason takes the gun, Red Hood, and that's it. He's, okay, you're not going to kill him, then I will. And he takes his gun and he points it at the Joker. But then, there we go. Yeah, he points it at the Joker. Before that, the Joker did kind of recognize him, and he's like, oh. And then he said, oh, fantastic, I wondered where you went, what happened to you. And Jason's like, really? And he says, the Joker's like, no. And then, what he does is, there we go. He tries to leave and he shoots him. Yeah, that's when he tells him, do the same thing to him, and he refuses. Pick up the gun now, and that's when he shoots him. Okay, let me adjust that. Just a second. Okay. Then, okay, what does Jason, then Jason's about to shoot him, but then they hear beeping. It's coming from the Joker. He's got a device on him that's beeping. He's like, oh, what's this? And then he picks it up. I looks at it and know, oh, right. And then through the wall bursts Mr. Strength, his super soldier. And he's like, good. And Joker's like, good thing I installed that homing device on you. So that's what it was. So he wasn't even in the Iceland thing. He got away. So he starts fighting. I think Jason's a bit down. I think he gets kicked, I believe, by the Joker, was it? And then Then Mr. Strength goes to attack Batman. And Joker's like, I'm gonna get rid of, now it's starting. He's, Batman's avoiding the Joker's, not the Joker's, sorry. I'm all over the place today, sorry. Before that, Joker takes the gun, and, and he's like, oh, great, this is fantastic. I'm now gonna get rid of, the Robin of the past and the Robin of the future. The Robin of the past and the Robin of the present. But as he takes the gun, wants to aim at Tim, he sees that the case, the glass box is broken. Robin has escaped it, and he's like, "What?" And that's slightly before that. Mr. Strength comes in, and then the fight starts. Tim throws the crowbar to Batman. Batman hits Mr. Strength in the face. They hit the Joker as well, but then Mr. Strength is going at him. And he has too much power, of course, more than Batsy. And then Batsy, Mr. Strength starts saying, I always wanted to be a comedian. I'm good at setups, not so much the payoff. And Batman's like, I'm also good at setups. Because he deliberately goes backwards. When this whole thing started, when Bruce woke up, the thing is, the place where they're in is about to get destroyed any second. It's just going to crumble, and they need to do something. They need to get out of there. So that's what he does. So he purposefully gets the Strength Man to continue punching until he punches the wall twice that's behind Batman. It breaks, and then water flows right in. And he and Joker are washed away as Joker yells, I told you not to ad-lib. They're washed away. You see Jason getting washed away as well with the crowbar. Tim is holding onto a ladder and then uses the grappling Batman thing he shoots it, but it doesn't catch Jason. The crowbar goes down the stream, gets pushed into the wall, and Jason's jacket gets caught on that. And then Bruce is holding the rope and trying to reach Jason. He's like, Jason, come on, come with us. Jason has taken off his mask and he's saying, you never give up, do you, Bruce? And Bruce is like, no, I won't give up on you. Come back with us. And Jason's like, it's too late, Bruce. You know, what's going to happen? How long before I break your code again? And it's going to be the same thing all over again. Forget about me. Go get the Robin that needs you. And then Jason pulls his the back of his jacket up, and he falls into the water. And Batman's like, Jason. But that's it. And Tim says, come on, Bruce, we have to get out of here. And the ladder he's latched onto, it's going up to a manhole. And Barbara puts some explosives, and then she goes down, and she's like, what did I miss? As they're both climbing the ladder. Then shortly they're out on the pier with two bat drones looking everywhere for them. They haven't found any traces of the Joker or Mr. Strength, and neither have they found any of Jason. And Bruce is looking, is like, is this it? Have I made the same mistake I made with Jason? Have I made the same one with both of you? And Tim tells him, well, at least before the end, he knew that you wouldn't give up on him. At least he knew that. And Barbara says, well, Jason made his choice, and so have we. And then Tim says that we're not going anywhere. And then we see a big boat going, and Jason wakes up. He's inside of the boat, and with him are Deathstroke and his young assistant, whose name is Sunny, apparently. Then Jason wakes up, and he's like, Deathstroke, I thought they took you away. He was arrested. And he's like, tells him, I'm very good at getting early parole. Or, yeah, was it parole? Yeah. And then Sunny has questions, and she puts more plasters on his face, and Deathstroke's like, leave him, Sunny, let him rest. All of that will come later. And then he tells him, well, you don't have to worry. Maybe sometimes what you need is a new family. And then, I don't know if Jason's really smiling or not. Kind of maybe looks like he does. I'm not certain, and then that's it. The end. Okay, so first cover. I really like this one. You see the fire, and there's Jason's, well, not face, but his mask there, and you see Batman. That's a really, really cool composition here, even though there's no fire to speak of in this particular issue. But that is a really cool image. You see Batman standing there with his robe there, and Jason's like right here. That's fantastic. Good colors, too. It's very eye-catching. Right, here's some art. I swear, the name box feels like these last two issues, it's getting too small. You see, there we go. There's Jason stealing from Dr. Tompkins. Alright, you see him. And he's leaving, and she's calling Bruce. You see there's poor Alfred. Okay, let's see art. Oh, let me check one more thing again. There we go. Often, a new family appears when you need one most, and I think, yeah, that's what he said. There and yeah, and I'm not sure if Jason's smiling or just laying back. I mean, it doesn't look like a smile, it just looks like he's laying back and thinking, maybe. Alright, on to the story. So this here concludes our arc with Jason Todd, Red Hood, at least in this one. I'm now not certain what the hell the 8th issue is going to be about, because it feels like they could have just ended it here, basically, and not even include an 8th issue. But I have a feeling that Jason Todd's not going to be in issue 8 anymore. So I'm wondering what the story's going to be there. But this was a good conclusion. I suppose in a way it gave Batman some closure. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, Jason, he tells them how he survived was his foot got caught in ropes on a hot air balloon, and that's how he got out of there. Not the best flight he had, but he kept him alive. Which you gotta wonder, that injured as he was, it couldn't have been good for him. And also, how the fuck did he, manage to land somewhere safely? If he couldn't even, he was beaten pretty bad. Not pretty bad, he was beaten bloody, so how the hell did he later, did he manage to climb on the box that was attached to the balloon? I mean, I'm just wondering how he later survived, but okay. I guess there's that. So that's how he lived. Right, back to my earlier thing. So yeah, this really, Batman got some closure. Found out Jason was alive, and I don't think Jason maybe forgave him, but he just kind of realized that Batman really would have never given up on him, and that he did care. So even though now they seem to believe that Jason might be dead, again, he's not. Deathstroke tells him that after he found out that he shadowed him, then Deathstroke started to shadow Jason. And so he was lucky they found him when he plopped out of the water. So that's it. At least Batman gets that. Some kind of closure. And yeah, I think Jason was right here. What would have happened? Jason's no longer the same person he was. Eventually, he would have broken Bruce's code again, really, and then what? It would be even worse. It's just better to end it there. Jason said the same. But yeah, this was an intense one. It's interesting how it started. We started with Bruce helping Superman rescue him in the first issue. And we get all up and finding out that Jason has returned to town and is alive. And how it slowly really escalated to this. again, it's in. I mean, obviously, Jason wanted something from the beginning because they did find it weird that he decided to help in that mission where Deathstroke was fighting to kill Batman. So yeah, I had a feeling this wouldn't be something good. But it was what it was, and it's definitely been a pretty fun adventure to read. I enjoyed it. But I do wonder what issue 8 will be, because it's not going to be this. It's like the last issue. Now again, I don't remember for what time it was released. Maybe they just added a little extra. So it feels like here they could have just ended it, and that would have been it. But they continued. But whatever it's going to be, it's going to have to wrap up in one issue, basically, because there's no, there's no, what are you going to tell in that one last issue? So I don't know if I will make a video about that last issue or not. I'll read it first and then see. I might just leave it at this, because if it's just going to have a one and done thing and it's not going to be much of a story, then no point. But again, I'll see. I'll get to it and I'll think about it. So yeah, folks, this was issue 7 of Batman: The Adventures Continue. Let me know what you thought about it, and remember, collect what you're passionate about, share it on YouTube. Bye!